Alright guys, gonna do an oil change on the Hawk today. This is what I'm gonna use. This Valvoline, I've actually never used it before. But I did bring out my normal oil. It's a Castrol Power One, 20W50, sorry guys. This is what I normally use and it has done really well for me. So if you guys are changing your oil for the first time, this is what I recommend. Like I said, I'm just gonna give the Valvoline a try and see what it's like. But anyway, let's get started. Alright guys, so your actual drain bolt is right here. We are not going to be using that today, but if you guys do decide you want to take that out too, it is a 16 millimeter. We're actually going to take it out right here, which is where the oil screen is. In my experience, all the oil comes out either way, and that is a 24 millimeter. Now if you guys have to, you can do that with vice grips, but I do not recommend it because it is a pain in the ass. So use our 24 millimeter socket here, get it on there. You might have to kick your gear shift up a little bit, and I'm gonna have to pause this real quick, guys. All right, now that it's loose, take it out hand tight. Make sure you got something to collect your oil. That's all. You don't got a super good view, but pretty common sense there. And just let it drain. Oh. And that oil does not look super duper delicious, guys. Anyway, make sure you there is a filter. I'm pretty sure it fell in the oil. Yep. So don't do what I did, because now I have to do this. Anyway, there's my filter, and I'll show you which direction that goes back in. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but I do actually have some metal bits and stuff, probably just from the clutch. But we'll be right back. Just gonna throw out there that it's not a bad idea to lean your bike around. Make sure you got a little bit, everything out. As you can see, a little bit more is actually draining out. Just kind of lean your bike around a little bit, let it drain. Alright guys, so when you're putting this back in, this is how it should look. You have your spring on top of the actual drain bolt, and then you're gonna have your filter right on top of that, and it goes right back in the hole, just like that. So that's what it should look like when you're putting it back in. It won't be, you know, upside down like that. The screen will actually fit down inside the spring and should rest on top of the spring, and it'll go right back in there like that. I can kind of show you this part. Kind of shove the filter and the spring back in there and make sure it's, you know, flush and not loosey-goosey. It just went right back in there, and you see the spring. And then you got to put the bolt back on. Obviously I cannot show you that part because I need two hands, because they are actually, I'm not going to say hard, but slightly difficult to get back on. So once we got it in there, I'll show you guys. Alright guys, back in there, so you can just kind of tighten her up by hand real quick, just till it's kind of snug here, and then do the rest with your ratchet or vice grips or wrench or whatever you guys are using. So remember, it is a 24 millimeter. This does not have to be very tight. You don't want it to fall off, but you don't want to put gorilla strength into it either. Definitely use one hand. So that should be fine. Just till you start to struggle just a little bit there. And we'll go over and put more oil in. Alright guys, so on the opposite side of the bike, you've got your window here. And then right to the left of that, you have your actual dipstick. That's where you're gonna put in your new oil. Sometimes those are hard to get out. That's another thing you do not want to over tighten. If you guys have the regular Hawk, you might have to take your kickstart, pull it out. For some reason, I don't know, it seems like it's a little bit too close on the original Hawk. I have owned both of them. Alright guys, and just pour in exactly 1 quart. That is all these bikes take. I said, if you're watching this video and you're owning a different bike, make sure you know how much oil you take, what type of oil you take. This is just for the hocks, DLX or regular carb hock. And I cannot stress enough, guys, do not start your bike up if you don't have any oil in it. I know I had mine running at the beginning of the video, but that was just to get the oil a little bit thinner and warmed up. It comes out a little bit easier. You don't have to do that, but it does make it a little easier. All right, guys, now go ahead and put your dipstick back in. Be very careful because they have a tendency to get pinched in there. If you break that off, you're gonna have a bad time. You don't want to have to open your motor up if you don't have to. Even there, right there, I actually got a little bit too tight. You don't really want to struggle this at all at once. You want it to be snug, and you should wrap a little bit of oil around that O-ring too. I'm gonna take it right back off. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna start the bike, check for leaks. Let it run for 30 seconds to a minute, should be plenty. I actually have it in gear, so give me a second, guys. Like I said, just let it run for about 30 seconds or so. Check for leaks. Oh. Now that little drip of oil there is actually where I tighten it up. It does not look like we're leaking. Obviously, you'll check it again when you're all said and done, go on a little ride. About 30 seconds or so, guys. All right, guys, now after you turn the bike off, let it sit for another 30 seconds to a minute, and then we're gonna check the oil. All right, guys, it's a little bit hard to do with just one hand here. When you're checking your oil, you really want your bike to be sitting up straight. What a lot of people don't know is when you check the oil on the dipstick, you actually don't want to screw the dipstick all the way in. You just kind of want to set it in there so it's flush and pull it back out. As you can see, well, you probably can't see on the video, it takes it a minute to adjust, but we're actually good. We're like at the very top of the mark, so we're doing good. Now, you can also check it from this window here. They say you want it about half when you have the bike level, which is about where we're at when I have it perfectly level. A lot of people say those are not accurate. That's actually how I normally check mine and haven't had a problem. But that's all there is to it. Make sure you tighten everything back down. Next thing you want to do is go on a quick little test ride around your block or whatever. Make sure you go through all the gears. And then just come back, check for leaks again, check the oil level one more time. And if everything looks good, you're golden. Just make sure you got everything tight and snug, not insanely tight. Like I said, don't be gorilla gripping it. And now, at the end of the video here, I want to apologize to all my motorized bike subscribers. I know that's what the channel is mostly about. I'm not done with them, I promise. I have a lot of projects going all at once. They will definitely 100% be coming back to the channel. I've always said that is mainly what this channel is about. They'll be back. I'm still working on a trike. I have a lot of things planned for the future. I'm sorry for the hawk videos. I've got like 2 more hawk videos after this one. Like I said, it's going to be motorized bikes, but I am going to start throwing in these Chinese motorcycles. I have plans to get more Chinese motorcycles. So my channel is evolving. It's going to, instead of just being purely motorized bikes, it's going to be motorized bikes, Chinese motorcycles. Off-roading mainly is what we're going to be. Off-road vehicles. It'll be a lot of street driving, but off-road vehicles. Anyway, thank you all for watching.